We're back, boys. Floater gang in the house. No, nope. We were just talking about this. I mentioned this before this video. I was upset already about why the media has a 25% say in All-Star starters, why they have a say in NBA awards. And then we looked the only evidence that we looked at was at these All-Star starter votes, right? You can look at it's 50% player vote, 50% fan vote, sorry, 50% fan vote. Doesn't really matter. You just see a column and a number of the top 10. And 25% fan and 25% media. Ironically enough, the fan vote and the player vote were actually quite similar in most cases, and the media vote was all over the place. And now I'm fucking fuming. I'm gonna go Stephen A up all in this place, bro. I'm gonna get passionate because the media is
Stephen A. Mad Dog in the house today.
Dude, honestly, bro, if the media, I do not know why you get extra say. There's plenty of very certified people in the back with the numbers and stuff like that. And I get it, but the media people that are getting votes are just the people talking. They're just watching nationally televised games if they're watching games, and they just know the narratives. They are not people that are doing in-depth basketball analyzation or have any super knowledge of what current events. And that's frustrating to why are they getting extra votes and having such an impact on the basketball world? Like, it's literally ridiculous.
And because of the media, LaMelo Ball went from being an all-star starter to being snubbed. Okay?
That's crazy.
Players voted him as, I believe, 3 and fans as 2 or something along those lines.
1.
Was it 1? Yeah. Fans
as far
1.
As guards in the East.
Guards in the East, fans 1, players 3, media 7.
Oh, Lord.
Can you see how that may affect that?
No, the other day I was watching, when they announced it, I was watching ESPN, okay? And they're talking about LaMelo Ball. They mentioned these stats. I know the media, but they want attention. They talk about discrepancies and anything that kind of just causes friction. So I thought, okay, they're mentioning the exact same stats that he's number 1 in media, number 3 in players, and number 7 on me. I thought, oh, maybe they're gonna actually address it. Like, oh wow, why is that? Like, what happened? They ignore it. So you can tell they're the ones that voted for that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell by the rest of the episode that I watched that they are all the ones that voted for that. Because they don't even discuss that. They're like, oh, that's so weird. That's too bad. They never mention it. And it's like, all right, so who are all your reserves? So they're picking their reserves before the reserves were announced. And like literally they're talking about how only one of them picks LaMelo. Shout out to Perk. Jeez. I know you watch it all the time, Perk, but you're an idiot.
I don't know if he deserves a shout out.
No, yeah, maybe not. Anyway, Perk doesn't even pick LaMelo as a reserve. And nobody, on like the narrative, it's like, they can argue and like stuff like that. And they do that about Alperen Sengun as a reserve in the West, which he's not that deserving. But nobody calls him out for not having LaMelo. And they literally just talk about, oh yeah, what about like at the end they talk about, oh, but LaMelo really is like a fan favorite and stuff like that. Well, for one, obviously, and apparently the players think he's pretty good too because they think he's the number 3 best guard in the East, and they play against him. Ironically, so also you can just tell because the Hornets don't have any nationally televised game or any headlines that the media people have no idea what LaMelo Ball is
or any wins.
Talking about like, yeah, all the kids love LaMelo Ball. The kids that we asking about LaMelo, do you know LaMelo? How about you guys start watching LaMelo? I watch LaMelo. He's crazy. He's crazy good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what numbers they're looking at or what I think they're looking at the scoreboard and the win total, the win column.
Well, that's exactly the problem. It's just like which players are on winning teams for the most part, or have narratives. Unfortunately, there's no narrative really around LaMelo Ball. There should be because he's really good. And he was the only player ever to be top 10 in rebounds, assists, and points. Which I think he was number 3 in points, like 30 points a game.
For guards. I don't think it was top 10 in rebounding per league.
No, I think he is.
Is it?
Maybe I'm pretty sure.
I think it was. I mean, maybe. I'll double check. Keep on.
He's the only player ever to not be named. I think even an All-Star starter, and he wasn't even an All-Star.
Yeah, I think it's per guards.
Oh yeah, okay. He has left rebounds off. He's still crazy, guys. Still crazy, and it is absolutely. It's just disrespectful because he's good. There's really not any flaw in his game. Like, to be honest with you, there's not like any one big flaw where you're like, wow, this is why he didn't make it. His team sucks.
That's his biggest flaw.
But
that's the flaw.
He's not the reason his team sucks. I can guarantee you that. And anyway, the media is incompetent. I'm tired of why are they getting an extra vote? If they were the fans are more closely with the players, I think it's because the fans that are voting are normally fans that are more passionate, are actually paying attention. Either way, you get your voice, you can vote, it's fine. If the media people want to vote, let vote, of course. But why are they getting an extra vote? Why
Yeah.
have these incompetent people getting extra votes? These aren't all people that are just analyzing, and there is people obviously like in the back of the media, they're all watching every game.
Oh yeah.
There are teams that know all the numbers. I'm sure those people are extra competent, but we're not talking about those people that are the only ones getting votes here.
Yeah.
There's no reason they need to be getting a 25% share of the vote. No reason they should be messing up a vote of Defensive Player of the Year last year, where Gobert not only beats Wemby, which if you look at advanced numbers, if you watch them, is in my opinion wrong, but he beat him by a landslide, and that's just ridiculous. It's disgusting. And you also have right in the last 2 decades. I'm not gonna pull out numbers. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I think you have like 5 or so defensive player of the years that aren't even first team all defensive. There's something not lining up there. Literally incompetent. The reason I'm here is because top 5 list from this morning about who they would take. Anyway, literally, like let's look at just looking at the All-Star votes. Like it's crazy. Literally looking at the chart, and it's just a 1 through 10 ranking. But it's players who have 50% say, and you have fans who have 50% say. Players have 25% say, and media 25% say. Either way, it doesn't matter. They're all ranking. It's just the 1 through 10 rank according to each of those 3 categories. Players and fans are more similar because you're the more passionate fans. I would have to guess. But either way, the fans seem to be more on par with the players who are playing against each other. They know how difficult it is to guard this guy, to be guarded by these guys, and how to prep for these guys. And the media, right? You'd expect maybe the fans are more aligned with the media because of narrative and because of big teams like Lakers and Knicks. The media are the ones that are off because they're not watching the game. They're only paying attention to those things. These fans apparently are actually paying attention and understand it. And it's literally crazy. Like we're talking about the Eastern Conference guards. Like literally, let's go. I'll take you right there, right now. It is so apparently the yeah. So well, yeah. I guess so. LaMelo Ball, the media thinks he's 7. Fans think he's number 1, and players think he's number 3. So he's clearly not number 7. Falls out because of the media. It is literally absolutely absurd. And guess what? Jordan Poole, who players in the East or who as an East guard, players rank 14. Sounds in the right realm. He's a hooper. He's a hooper. He's a good guy, but he's not. He's really not all-star relevant in my opinion. Fans ranked him at number 9. He's got his name out there, and he's a hooper. I'll give it to him. Media somehow ranked him number 8, tying him with Hero, and this is where it gets really disgusting if you ask me.
Stop.
Tyrese Maxey. The media
hot take.
Tyrese Maxey, Tyler Hero, and Jordan Poole.
What did the players and the fans vote, Maxey?
They both voted again. They're all on the same wavelength, 7, which in my opinion is still crazy.
Yeah,
I don't know why he's that low, but I'll respect those votes. I will respect those votes. Remember, they tied him with Jordan Poole. Who's voting?
But you see,
Tyrese Maxey bring up. This is exactly what again. It's all narrative. The Sixers had a horrible season so far. Joel been out. It's been a whole new roster. Regardless, the Wizards aren't having any better of a season, and Poole isn't putting up any better games or numbers. Maxey, we did a head-to-head with Hero and Maxey, and Deacon tried to defend him. Yeah, like a year or so ago. Yeah. Deacon tried to defend it. At the end of the episode, he admitted like he was just kind of just reaching. Like there really wasn't like Maxey's clearly better. Since then, Maxey has put up his stellar playoff performance where he had 250-point games. He had game-winning shots.
And Hero is still a great player.
And
I think Hero is still above Poole too.
Yeah, exactly. And then Maxey's been averaging 30 or so. He'd have a bunch of 30-point games after I think he had the most 30-point games after SGA and Jokic this season.
Pretty good, I know that.
I think he has the 3rd most 30-point games.
He's averaging 27-7 with 6 assists, which his assists go up and down. He can have 13 assist games. He can have 2 assist games.
I mean, he should be an all-star in my opinion.
Even his defense is pretty good.
But that's a different thing. But either way, to have the media vote him to tie him with Poole shows incompetency. Why are they getting their own votes? Yeah. Why are they so involved in all this? And then they just go in at 3. Again, it just shows you like Garland. Oh yeah, I think Maxey's better than Garland. It sure look like it. And the stats look like Garland's on a winning team. That's exactly what it comes down to. That's exactly what it comes down to again. He's on a winning team, so he's number 3. He's literally, they put him ahead of Trae Young. They put him ahead of Maxey, ahead of LaMelo Ball, ahead of Damian Lillard, and ahead of Cade Cunningham.
Back into perspective, I think I saw players and fans voted him at 5 and 6.
Who?
Garland, right?
Yeah. Fans voted Garland at 8, and
was it that?
Wow. Yeah, but fans voted Garland at 8. Players at 5. So I think he is a bucket.
Yeah,
he is a bucket. 3 guys, really? Come on, let's take it easy here. And again, we're going to go back to the Cleveland narrative. They've been on fire, by the way. Shout out to Cleveland. Those guys are hooping. They look fantastic. They arguably look like, I mean, they're top 2 team in the league right now.
Yeah,
and so I get it. I get they're good, but this is still a player award. I get it. You want to give it to someone. You don't want to give it to a bunch of teams that suck. You don't want to give it to a bunch of players on a team that suck. But for one, LaMelo, it's been absurd. And again, so why is Jared Allen, according to the media, he's tied for 5 with Jaylen Brown, who just won Finals MVP. He's tied with Jaylen Brown, tied with Joel Embiid, who's been hurt. I'll give him a little bit of credit there. And Mikal Bridges. What's Mikal Bridges even doing in there? He didn't even make the top 10 on media on fan ranking or player ranking. Hooper, great Hooper. He's an Iron Man. We know he doesn't miss games. He hustles. He can score if he needs to. He can get on a heater. We went to a game where he scored 42 points or 43 points. One of those 2 numbers. He went crazy. I know he's a bucket. Don't get me wrong. But that's just not his role right now. But he's on New York and he's in the narrative, right? The Villanova boys just went there. The players and the fans know he's not even top 10, so he's not even close. Somehow the media got him at 5.
Yeah.
What the heck? What? What do you mean? Just because he's on the Cavs?
Yeah. I believe so. The Cavs, like you said, they're the second best team. I get it, which is actually kind of ironic. The West is better, to be fair, but the Cavs ended with 3 All-Stars. They're all great, but I really don't think that they need 3 All-Stars in the All-Star game this year. No. I think, like you said, Maxey could have potentially taken one of those spots. At Hero, even potentially. I think Maxey's still above him, but what are we doing? Why are we putting only guys from good teams and that have a high narrative in it? Because the media, that's all they know, and they have such a big percentage in this vote.
It really comes back
to be fair, reserves is mostly or only coaches, so that's a little different. But for the starters, some of these starters, things would have been completely different if they didn't have that.
If they want to vote, let them vote. That's totally fine. But why are they getting a special 25% vote? Mm-hmm. It makes 0 sense to me. Their vote counts as much. Literally, think of it this way: their vote counts just as much as the actual players who play against these guys from their profession. Again, in what world do we think that makes sense? And again, these aren't just media guys that really know their stuff. These are just the random media guys that are literally, clearly, and evidently, and some of them admittedly, not watching that many games and seem to just go with the narrative and what teams are good.
Yeah.
And really, this is where it gets actually really funny because I'll take you over to the Western Conference now in the front court. His name is Andrew Wiggins. So players think he's the 21st best player in the front court, not just in the West, in the front court alone. So he's not anywhere close to up there. Shout out to Andrew Wiggins. You're still a hooper, bro. I remember 2022. You did some good stuff.
Even this year, he's been doing some good stuff. But he's
anyway,
21st.
And fan rank 8 again. So the fan. I also understand fans. The Golden State Warriors were the Warriors. A lot of fans, big market, whatever.
Kind of
their not close. But you'd expect at least the media to be right. They're educated. You'd expect them to be professionals that know the game, to be more lined up with the players. Instead, the media have him at 9. Yeah. Which again, it brings me to sure they're close with the fans, but then why don't they just get a fan vote? Why don't they just get a normal fan vote? Why are they getting an extra special vote? Because it doesn't seem like you guys know anything extra.
I also want to mention they tied him with J-Dub Williams from the Thunder, who I think everybody, for the most part, maybe besides Warriors fans, can agree that J-Dub is a better player than Andrew Wiggins, especially this season.
Even the fans at least knew that.
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised.
Even the fans, and also the players. Just for a fun fact, the players had him at number 6, which is behind
versus 21.
Anthony Davis. That's behind Anthony Davis. And that's also in front of Jaren Jackson Jr., who the media had actually at 6. Guess why? Because he's a Defensive Player of the Year award winner, which
And he
means they
is on
know
one of
his
the best
name.
teams too.
And he's one of the best teams.
I guess
He's
J
a good
Dub is
player.
on the best teams. I don't know what that is, but
It was the narrative. Jaren
yeah.
Jackson Jr. is a name that you know because he won
And
Defensive
Shea is the
Player of
Thunder,
the Year.
basically.
And
Which
Shea
I
this
kind
year
of
is
hate
all the
actually
narrative of the
somewhat
Thunder, which
because the Thunder they're a team winner.
they
Shea
have
is
one of the most
fantastic. Yes, they're a team
They
winner.
had a great roster last year. And they picked up Caruso. We already talked to everyone. Everyone that knows basketball knows they picked up Hardenstein and Caruso. Like, obviously, insane roster. So don't give me all that Shea talk, please. But it also you just know that, like, Kevin Durant, all time great, arguably the greatest scorer ever in his prime, and he really hasn't slowed down. I know the Suns suck. Also, just for the record, I'm not a big Kevin Durant fan. I like snakes. Not snake phobia. Anyway, player ranked him at tied with number 2. They know he's a bucket. Fans ranked him at number 3. He's also fan favorite. I'm actually kind of surprised the players ranked him better, but he's a
I mean,
bucket.
it's
He's
'cause
so
Jokic,
good.
yeah.
Media had him all the way down to 5.
Yeah.
Media had him all the way down to 5.
And LeBron at 4.
And LeBron at 4. That old narrative, that no finals win narrative. The fans kind of irrelevant because LeBron, but the players the players have him at number 2.
Yeah.
The players know when you're stepping on the court and LeBron James on the court, you should maybe be pooping your pants.
Yeah. I mean, the West is hard. I will say you have 4 to 8 of the guys that could all be up there. You have Jokic, LeBron, Durant, and Wemby, which you can all kind of interchange. But to have especially Durant at 5 is kind of absurd.
It's just showing all these narratives they're looking into and which teams are good. By the way, it's still like we're not voting what teams are going to the All-Star. We're voting what players.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I get that, right? You want to reward obviously winning.
Yeah.
And
obviously
I totally get that, but
yeah.
Kevin Durant is just that guy. I'm sorry that it's a 5-on-5 sport and that Kevin Durant or LaMelo Ball or whoever can't do all of these things on their own. It's just showing it's all narrative, right? J-Dub, it's all they're always going narrative here and everything.
Yeah.
And or narrative of the last few years. It's what they have in recent memory. Like Andrew Wiggins, he was amazing in the finals. He's probably still really good. How much Warriors games have you been watching, pal? How many Warriors games have you been watching compared to also other teams
let's bring it to your actual list that you have from today that you saw from the media with who would you build a franchise around after this Luka trade happened,
I mean,
which I know people hate it. I understand to an extent, but that's not our main topic. But I just want to say I think it's getting a little overhated. I think the Mavs should have done things differently, though, concerning that trade. But after that trade, the media this morning came out with who would they want to build around, top 5.
I mean, go through that? This list on the surface, it's not like a horrible list, right? You got appropriate names on there, but the more you look into it, it's just evidence again that these media people don't know what they're talking about and they're going based on narrative. Some ESPN chick, I don't want to call her out. I don't want to put anything on her name, mostly because I don't know it. But
that's neither here or there.
Yeah. Anyway, either way. So they put Luka at number. This is why young players to build start a franchise with right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so Luka at number 5. He's only 25 years old. He's amazing. He was top 3 in MVP voting. He went to the finals. It's actually kind of weird. He's at number 5. You think about it because he's top 3 in MVP voting, and Giannis was there too, and he's kind of older, so maybe he's not on the list. Spoiler: he's not. Guess maybe you put Wemby in front of him. Anyway, why is Luka at 5?
Seems like he just got traded.
Like he
clearly wasn't good enough to keep.
Yeah. Anyway, so they want him at 5 because fits the narrative a little bit because apparently something went wrong, which maybe it did, but they don't even know that. Nobody knows that, so he should be higher than that. And guess who's in front of him? Actually, Jason Tatum. I think Celtics fans know Luka is better. Again, if Tatum was traded recently, it would be a big deal because they just won a championship, but not because of him. Not because Tatum is a Luka caliber player. And you can tell me right now, you can tell me all you want how good Tatum is. Go ahead, I'll agree with you. Or maybe I won't, doesn't matter. I hope we can agree on the fact that Luka is a better player. We can talk about a two-way, we can talk about all these, we can talk about Tatum's a two-way, Luka is a better player. For 5-on-5 basketball, I mean, if you're playing 5-on-5 basketball and you want to start a franchise, give me Luka every single day, and I don't even think about Tatum. And I hope no one does. And he's also older, so it doesn't really fit there either. But, again, fits their media narrative, coming off a championship roster win, and Tatum has been a golden boy for a long time for the media. It kind of actually fell apart a little bit last year just because he they've kind of for focusing that light on the fact that he hasn't been able to have success in the playoffs and he's been inconsistent. And then though he did get over the hump, even though that Jaylen Brown won Finals MVP, rightfully so, because Tatum again up and down. Then number three, Wemby. He's really young. Everyone, I mean, luckily, I'll give credit. Everyone else in the said they would probably have Wemby at one. It was weird. I think it's pretty common. Starting a franchise might take, 7'5" generational player who's already looking fantastic.
Who's 21 years
and he's
old.
21. You're looking at everybody else. All right, whatever. Nikola, number two. All right, well, he's 29. But, I mean, if you're going with kind of the thought process of taking the best player in the league, sure. So then SGA at number one. So why is Nikola not over him? Why is Giannis on the list if we're looking at older guys too? Because Giannis is obviously amazing. It's just inconsistent. And if you look at the list quickly, I realize it's complete error. SGA right now is MVP favorite, which also is just voter fatigue. Again, media sponsored. Voter fatigue. Nikola Jokic is averaging more points per game, more rebounds per game, more assists per game than he did in not one MVP season of his, in 3 MVP seasons. He's averaging more in not one of those categories, all 3 of those categories: points, assists, and rebounds. Yeah. Also, he's top 10 in steals. I'd never thought a Walrus would be top 10 in steals in the NBA. Shout out to Nikola.
Oh, yes, sir.
Also, yeah, he's clutch. Like, man, I mean, you watch, he can do everything. He does everything right. Like, he just plays basketball the way it should be played. He's better than SGA. There's no doubt about that. It's voter fatigue. And SGA, right? The Thunder are so hot right now. SGA is doing it on his own. His roster is 10 times as stacked as Nikola's. If Sam Presti was the Denver Nuggets GM, bro, don't even get me started. They're not losing anything. They're not losing games in the playoffs. They're winning forever. And SGA just isn't at that level. By the way,
he is a top 3 player.
Nikola, it's like, sorry, dude, you don't have much of a chance.
Sorry, but you're not Jokic.
You're just not.
You're not a 7-foot triple double.
Also, all the advanced stats. The thing is, these are the playing stats telling you that Nikola finished better. All the advanced stats, the exact same thing. Like the individual impact, the individual value, most valuable player, Nikola is much better.
Oh yeah.
It's absurd. And so it's kind of weird then. So Nikola's number 2. Oh, that's why. That's the narrative. Okay. We're talking about these 2 guys are the best. So then Wemby's at 3. Okay, then Tatum coming off the championship year, like I said, you got to put him at 4. And Tatum's always been that golden boy of the media. And then Luka at 5. He just had the straight. It's all weird. Didn't win the championship, and I guess he's out of shape. It's just like
but he made
an uneducated order, again, by a media person. And a lot of the people disagreed, and those tend to be the more advanced ones. My point is, at least half of these media people aren't very educated or really paying attention to basketball. Why are they getting a special vote, in awards, and an all-star? Just stop it. Adam Silver, I know my boy's always watching the pod.
Always.
We shout out to Mr. Silver. Bro, get rid of the media people. And everybody else, you got a petition. I know we have so many fans in the comments all the time. Normally it's too much. Normally it's too much. But this time,
everything.
This time,
throw it all down.
Give it everything.
We need it all. We want this to change. Either have that change or have the media people actually know what they're talking about.
Yeah, that's not happening. Also, just get rid of it. If they want to vote, if they want to be, even if they become educated, they can just vote like the rest of us. They don't need a 25% vote.
There's plenty of educated fans out there that they couldn't even vote for the media, but they'd be better. But that's just not the position they're in. So just vote with the fans. Players obviously are playing, so I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
One more shout out to, in theory, I have nothing wrong with coaches voting for all the reserves. For one, it's a little bit weird that's only coaches. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. I think it should be coach
players, do 50% coaches, 50% players. It just makes more sense in general.
Yeah.
And I think it makes even more sense to consider that most of the time, it's not the head coaches voting. If it was, I think it would be a lot better. Most of the time, they just give it to one of their assistants or, some guy just like, oh, you want to put in my votes. You want to do my. And
yeah.
I mean, I'm not just making that up. That's just from what I've heard NBA players say publicly or coaches say publicly. You can look into it yourself, but also that way, just do half coaches, keep it that way. Whoever wants to vote on the coaching side can vote, and the players. I think you would get a little bit more of an accurate and just more balanced checks and balances, baby. America.
That's true.
America.
It's a good point.
Anyway.
But yeah, let us know what you think about the media. Are they valid? Are they not valid? I think I kind of agree with this guy, but let us know in the comments, and we'll see y'all next time. Floater Gang out.